When it comes to painting with color, learning how to make colors glow is everything. And so this week I'm going to show you 2 ways to do that. But first, I'm going to share with you some color studies that 6 people have sent in, and I love every bit of them. Check it out. By the way, my name is Anne, and this is an art channel that's a resource for people who wish to deepen their art practice, especially when it comes to color and painting and even going professional. This week was really inspiring. There were 6 of you who shared some photos from some of your studies recently. And last week, my challenge was related to either mixing neutrals or finding the worst color combinations that you could. And so some people actually are still working on some of the previous week's exercises or challenges. And I loved every bit of all of them. And it was such a gift to be able to see inside your mind and inside your studio color notebook for a couple minutes. So let's share these. Okay. All right, first we have Natalie Dadamio. She is on YouTube and on Instagram, and she does a lot of abstract work. And so she's just getting started. She said, yeah, these are just the beginnings. She's on, I think, the 2nd week at this point. And she mentioned that when I said color theory from the inside out, it really clicked for her. And color theory classes she's taken in the past. Well, she just likes the idea of this being not quite so linear, which, yeah, it is. This is definitely not a linear experience. This is us kind of having a conversation and reacting to each other's thoughts and work. Okay, just a sec. All right. Okay. So here we have Stacey from Liverpool, and she had a really big week in color studies, sounds like. Very exciting. She, in this first image, she took 12 of her colors and mixed a whole bunch of different colors from them to create a chart that is a resource for herself. And then here on the right, she was experimenting by seeing what happens if she layers colors on top of one another and instead of mixing them, which is great. It got me thinking about a really great book that I would recommend to you that I'm going to tell you about shortly. And it's related to making colors glow. So Stacey definitely has been figuring out how to make colors glow, that's for sure. And then she did the exercise where you're looking for something that that you like in your house, and so she color matched things in her lounge and in her kitchen. And then she also did a really cool exercise where every time she did a painting um, session, she would use her leftover paint and add to this, and then afterwards went through, what did she say? Used paint markers as well. Let's see, is that right? Oh, brush pens on top to get like these nice defined crisp patterns. And I love using old paint from sessions over time to create pieces. And so I stuck one of mine in here. This is a painting that I did from a painting that took a long time. So I had many painting sessions that happened, and so I would use old paint and then add to this. But back to Stacey. Actually, back to Stacey's son. He has also been having a great time, and let's see, he the stripes on the bottom right were, I think, from his pen case. He was definitely color matching something that he saw that he liked. And then he was excited that so you're looking at the stripes on the right. Now look at the stripes on the left. That's where he did tints of the colors, so he would add white to them. And then afterwards, he spontaneously surrounded those colors with red, and he and his mom discussed the idea of using complementary colors to make colors pop. And funny enough, that is another thing that we're going to be talking about today as well, about how to make your colors glow. Okay, Stacey, thank you so much. It's very exciting. All right. And then we have Jessica, and she mixed all of these colors from her cadmium-free yellow medium, Turner Cobalt Blue Hue, and quinacridone Magenta. And yeah, that's a delightful combination uh, of primaries, isn't it? She got some really beautiful violets, and I actually like all those salmony colors in between the magenta and the orange. And yeah, this is lovely. And then we get to have a little peek inside her studio color notebook as well. And she's making a plan for a painting that she's about to do. And then she also shared with us the painting. Look at that. So she was going to be doing a teapot painting and wanted to have a color study to prepare for it. And so that is exactly what she did. Lovely. Um, all right. Next up we have, oh yeah, this is Jessica some more. Look at that. Oh, I love seeing your palette on the left too, like where you were mixing things. That's really, really fun to witness. Thank you very much. Okay, and now we have Daria. She says that her idea number one is the one colors inspired by a place. So she's in a small village in Latvia, and the colors are inspired by the Airbnb they're staying in. Love it. Oh, okay, Daria, I need to ask you, are these colored watercolor pencils? Yeah, I think they must be. I really love these colors. Woo! Okay. And then this one was colors she rarely used, but then commented that after putting them together, she felt like they could go in the ugly category from last week's video. She does not like this color combination. Oh, actually, she says, I don't hate them and hate them at the same time, which I understand that. I can relate to that. Um, but she noted that this palette makes her feel uneasy and cringy. Yeah, I totally have been there. Yes. Okay. And she also mixed some neutrals. Um, had a really great time. She said some of them were deliberately made with complementary colors and some were making a mess. It's a fine line, isn't it? Oh my goodness. Cool. Beautiful. Thank you, Daria. And then Lorie, okay, this is very exciting. So Lorie chose 3 primaries, and she said that she used just like a Liquitex, like the primary blue, primary yellow, and then primary red, I think, and made this gorgeous palette with all of these beautiful secondary and tertiary colors. Um, and she has made it in order to create a painting that I'm hoping that someday I will get to see. Um, but something that we haven't really talked about a lot, but it's really important, I think, to bring up is that there's a real win to creating the space and the things that you need to work regularly. And Lorie just had knee surgery, like a complete knee replacement, actually, and was able to get all of this stuff together in order to be able to do these studies. And to me, that is such a victory, just to have your stuff together. Um, it's a big deal. I really think that a huge way that we can protect our painting practice is make sure that we like decrease the friction as much as possible to getting regular work done. So important. Thank you, Lorie. And then we have Cathy, who actually works with textiles and dyes yarn herself. And so she chose lichen as her inspiration. And so as you can see, she started with these color dyes, and then she mixed these colors in order to then dye them. And it's the whole process of, like the original wool, like before you dye it, is not just going to be a straight white. So you have to compensate for that ahead of time to kind of predict what it's going to be. So let's see, there are a couple of pushes that she was very proud of. One of them was pushing the color boundaries, choosing a couple of colors that she doesn't normally use, and also pushing her dyeing skill, because trying to match these colors in the dye and then on the yarn, it's I'm certain must be a real process. And yeah, just really love it. And Cathy, I hope that you will. I assume that when you dye these yarns, that then you also put them in action and make things. And so I think it'd be very cool to see what happens next, because I'd love to see like an image again next to something that you have made with this yarn. And by the way, I think she mentioned that she's not happy with the lightest color and wants to try to possibly, uh, let's see, try an intermediate color. Anyway, oh my goodness, so exciting. Okay, so then I painted this in response to something that Maureen Seeba said. She suggested using alizarin crimson and chromium oxide green. And I was really curious to see what would that, what that would yield. And this was really fun and interesting. And again, uh, I keep referencing this book that I'm going to be sharing with you today, and these little places where I have like a color in the middle of a square is related to that as well. I was trying to see if I could, like, the effect that I could get on that center square or rectangle by surrounding it with another color of different intensities and values. Okie dokie. And then, all right, at bar 345 had suggested all fluorescent colors with no relief given with black or white. And so I went and bought some inexpensive fluorescent paint, because I guess I didn't have fluorescent paint in my collection for some reason, even though fluorescent paint is fun. So I think that it was maybe a little bit more hurting the eyes in person, but I admit that with my dopamine hungry brain, I sort of enjoyed this quite a bit. And if I looked at this under black light, it'd probably be even more intense. But if you have a sensitive sensibility, I think this would be very painful to look at. And here's the book that I wanted to recommend to you, Making Color Sing, Practical Lessons in Color and Design by Jeanne Dobie. And I've actually bought this book twice because I lent it to somebody and then really needed to have it again. And so there are so many pieces of wisdom in this book that I think go a long way. And she is a watercolorist, as you can see, but as an oil painter or an acrylic painter or gouache even, maybe possibly, I think this would still be a very valuable resource. So yeah, she has some seriously fabulous information in here. So the two exercises that I want to recommend to you this week are definitely explored in this book, and so I won't totally do a spoiler on the book, but she says she has this idea that she calls mouse power. Luminous grays is what she's going for, and she says colors are like jewels. Each should be placed as carefully as a precious gem in a setting. The proper setting makes the jewel glow and enhances its qualities. Only when you're not conscious or aware of the setting, however, is it performing its job well, which is to remain subtle and not overpower the jewel-like colors. To form the setting, then, you need quiet, mouse colors in your painting. So she's talking about luminous grays. Grays that will not be dull, but will bring out the most in these jewels. And so she has this exercise in the book that that allows for that. And oh yeah, look at this one. Ooh, these are so great. Look at them glowing though. Actual jewels. So I will demonstrate one tonight. And then also I would like to demo something else in this book where she shows how to optically mix colors by layering them. And so we'll do a couple of those. This really works best with transparent colors. And again, she's a watercolorist, but that doesn't mean all watercolors are transparent. So yeah, so I will demo a couple, and I would like to invite you to try one or the other or both of these ideas. So first things first, I just have some watercolor paper, even though I'm going to be using acrylic paint. I have watercolors, but for some reason I'm using acrylic paint tonight. So this week I am recommending these two activities to give a whirl. First of all, try doing some layering transparent colors to see what kind of interesting optical mixing you can do. Here I'm gonna do layers with those three, just letting them dry. And the second activity is to create these frames around which you will put a very vibrant color. So right there I'm making a muted green frame that's going to house a quinacridone magenta gem. And then here I'm making a very warm neutral to house cobalt teal. And then the third little gem on the bottom is going to be an orange one, and it'll be housed in a muted ultramarine blue frame. And while it's true that all of this that I'm doing is complementary colors, I think it would be a valuable activity to just try a bunch of different colors. Here I'm doing phthalo green right on top of quinacridone magenta, and last week I mixed those two, and if you will recall, I made blue, but as you can see, the optical mixing from layering looks different than the blue that I mixed last week. So this is Pyrrole red on top of cobalt teal. And then the third one is ultramarine blue, very thinly brushed onto orange. So I hope you have a really fun time this week. Oh yeah, here come the little gems. I put on the quinacridone magenta very thinly, so it'll be very vibrant. Anyway, I hope you have fun playing with all of these and investigating all the ways to make your colors glow. And so yeah, we'll see you next week for Color Theory from the Inside Out. Thanks so much for watching.